And it's about time we had some vinyl news. And I thought I'd begin with some 4AD, but not just any 4AD. This is classic era 4AD. We've got a 30th anniversary for you from the Pale Saints and the choral tenor delivery of Ian Masters fronting the band. And this is it. I'll give you a closer look in a second. Pale Saints were around doing their thing in a recorded manner, late 80s, 88, 89, very sort of shoegaze in the indie approach, when indie really was indie. And they were spotted by 4AD as a concert, and supporting them, would you believe, was Lush, another legendary shoegaze band. But this particular LP, well, I say LP, there are 2 records in this set, a gatefold it is as well. The actual LP here I've left in the shrink wrap just for now, and what you get on the shrink wrap is a little tiny sticker. I'll show that. So that sticker is the only external adornment that you will see. So let's take the shrink wrap off and see what's inside. Here is the album itself, and very colourful it is as well. And on the rear, feast of fonts, basically. Inside, it's a track list, but in a very designery sort of way, extremely 4AD. Let's have a look at the inner sleeves. Here is disc 1, and on the flip, again, a mixture of credit information as well as a couple of teeny tiny photos. And on the other disc, well, it's very similar, basically, as you can see. But there are 1 or 2 nice quotes on the inner sleeves. For example, speaking of Ian Masters, the lead singer, band member Richard Formby said this during the John Peel session, which is included here, and I'll give you more information on that in a second. He said this: "I do remember Ian's stomach rumbling so loudly whilst recording vocals that you could hear it on the track. I must listen out to that." And before we get to that information, the actual pressing itself is rather nice, clear, well, I don't know, translucent vinyl. It's not particularly clear, is it? Translucent, I would say. But very nice indeed, with a green, sort of palish green label in the centre. So the album itself, Comforts of Madness. Did I not mention that? Comforts of Madness is the name of the LP. The first disc includes the full album as released. The second disc includes 10 demos plus an original version of the track Sight of You. And then to finish off the second disc, there is the band's one and only John Peel session. That's a 4-tracker, and that's featured at the end of side 2. And if you need more information on that particular John Peel session, it was produced by the legendary John Walters, and that took place at the BBC Studios Maida Vale on the 23rd of July 1989. A lovely package, and if you're into 4AD or shoegaze, one to grab. Now on to the prolific music on vinyl, and first up we have an album by, well, Kara's Flowers. Are you familiar with Kara's Flowers? If you like Maroon 5, you will be interested in Kara's Flowers if you know them or not, because most of Maroon 5, the band, were in this. The album itself is very pop orientated, lots of hooks, little bit of edge in a grungy sort of way, but the band don't really take themselves too seriously here. It's a very sort of pop orientated LP, and very nice indeed. Here's the front, and we'll flip it over on the rear. We'll keep the label on because there's not a great deal else to see here except the rear. There you go. From Smoke City in 1997, this album, Flying Away, is a little bit of a combo, a mixture of trip hop and a little bit of bossa nova and a bit of funk in there as well. Also, if you happen to be watching television in early 1997, you may have heard this particular band playing Underwater Love on a Levi's commercial. Next up is Miles Kane. You may know him as the lead singer for the band Last Shadow Puppets. This particular solo album, Colours of the Trap, arrives on in a gatefold sleeve, and let's have a little look inside and check that out. So here's the front of the album itself, and there's the rear, fairly simple. Lots of credit information on one side, and on the other side we have a whole host of lyrics with the man himself in the centre. Inside is a 4-page booklet. There's Miles himself, wreathed in smoke and not wreathed in smoke. And inside a whole host of images to look at while you're listening to the LP. The album itself arrives in this intriguing combo of pink and black. The resident rock delivery from Kane sort of insinuates 60s and 70s in terms of style. And it has a sort of Baroque-like, almost Scott Walker direction-ish. Now, from the 60s, most definitely, is the Electric Prunes, a classic garage rock outfit. Drug-fueled, initially fuzz-based guitar extremists, along with heaps and heaps of wah-wah pedal, especially on their debut. This is their second LP, or reissue of their second LP, and they tone it back just a little bit, meaning that the final LP is a bit more coherent, a little bit more consistent, and I would say it's a better LP than their debut. The album itself is called Underground, and this is the front cover, and on the flip, there's the guys themselves in negative format. Now, from the soul blues big voice of Etta James and the year 2000 Grammy nominated LP Matriarch of the Blues. As you can see here, still in its bag, but it does come with a 4-page insert, and let's have a little look at that. It's just a 2-sided insert. One side you'll see the lyrics, and on the other just some liner notes, credits information, and this particular image at the bottom is quite enlightening. Let me bring it to camera. Now there is Etta relaxing in a big chair with 2 of her colleagues, and that basically says it all about this particular album, because it's Etta taking it easy, sitting back, kicking back, relaxing, and it sort of reflects the actual album itself, which does lack a little bit of punch. There's a mixture of classic tracks here with some contemporary songs as well, but there's a bit of a lack of oomph. Her backing band are just as relaxed and taking it easy as she is, and it's okay, it's fine. It's not the best thing she's ever done. Why it was nominated for a Grammy, I'm not too sure. They probably did it as a respect for her legacy and her legendary status and the singer she used to be, because she really wasn't giving it on this particular LP. And now we're looking at Demon, the audiophile outfit from the UK, and we'll begin with the Tremeloes. This is a hits package. It's called Gold, as you can see, and obviously this is, well, as you can see on the front here, this is the Tremeloes post Brian Poole. This was the point where they dumped their suits for Carnaby Street and they lengthened their hair, and they had some classic hits including Silence is Golden. A neat package, and how many? 12 tracks, including Here Comes My Baby, Silence is Golden, Even the Bad Times Are Good, Suddenly You Love Me, Good Day Sunshine. They're all there, folks. Now, if you're into late 80s rap, early hip hop, then you want to check out Cash Money and Marvelous, and here it is, 1988, featuring the mighty Hard Rocker, which some of you may or may not know, but that was the standout track from this particular LP. This is a real golden age of rap around that particular time, and it's too often ignored, and if you have any interest in the genre, you really have to check this one out. And on the same theme, you should check out Tila Rock's Lyrical King, originally released on Fresh. This is a 1987 release. There's the front, and there's the back. Now we're going back a little bit further to 1974, and we're looking at a classic soul release, originally on the Brunswick label from Sidney Joe Qualls, I Enjoy Loving You, and here is the front of that one, and the rear. Originally released on the Dakar label, I would say that he is very much influenced by Al Green, in that sort of mode. The Godless Void and Other Stories by the post-hardcore, I suppose you'd describe them, band, and you'll know as by The Trail of Dead. This particular new album comes from Century Media, and the title of the album has a letter X right at the beginning. Not really a letter X, more a Roman numeral, because this is the band's 10th album. The album itself is full of varied textures. There's some power, obviously, there's some grunt, and there's real in-your-face rock, of course, but there's some introspection there too. So it gives the LP a range of textures and layers. Oh, and before we end on that one, also check out inside the sleeve, because there's a free CD version as well. And that's it for me, and another vinyl news. catch the next video. I'd love to see you there. Until then, bye bye for now.